All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adams Brothers podcast. We are coming to you this evening live here on YouTube, streaming live on our YouTube channel. And we are joined here this evening by Miss Brittany Bucknor. She is joining us here this evening, and we're going to be discussing the murder of her beautiful, talented, articulate daughter, Miss Destiny Bucknor. And we want to see if we can get some movement on her case with the Broward County Sheriff's Office. I know the Broward County Sheriff's Office watches our podcast, so we'd like to welcome Miss Brittany Bucknor to the Adams Brothers podcast. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. How are you guys doing this evening?
We're doing good.
We're doing well. And we want to thank you for, being so brave and, having the courage to come on our podcast and talk to us. And as we spoke a little bit off camera, that you are now the voice for your daughter. And I know that as a mother, you're going to do everything that you can to get justice for your beautiful young daughter whose life was senselessly taken away from us all, you and us all, at such a young age. And this is why we do these podcasts. Like we spoke earlier, that our sister was also murdered 30 plus years ago. And that is one of the reasons why we podcast right here today, to try and help other families that need closure. So again, we want to welcome Ms. Bucknor to the Adams Brothers podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, so, and anytime you want to, take a little break and take a little breather,
Let us know.
We'll slow the questions down, and we want you to start out by telling our viewers and everybody out there in YouTube land, tell us about Destiny Bucknor, your daughter, Destiny Bucknor. Who was Destiny? What type of child was she? Was she smart, funny? Did she play jokes on you? Just tell us who Destiny Bucknor was.
Destiny was my oldest girl, my only daughter. She, growing up, she was always such a happy baby. She loved dancing, loved music. She was always a helper. She always just put a smile on everyone's face from the time that she was a baby all the way up till just growing up. Of course, she loved her good food. As she got older, she just started growing into her personality of shy, but once you got to know her, she was always so giggly. Everything was really funny. Like, if it was a serious matter, it was still going to be funny. She always seen the best out of everything, out of every situation. And in school, very smart, always was on honor roll, had good grades, was a very pleasant student. Everyone that knew her, they loved her. There was nothing bad that you could ever say about Destiny. Even if she was having a bad day, you wouldn't be able to tell. Like, she was she was God sent, like a complete angel. In school, of course, she played orchestra. She was in orchestra. She played the viola. A lot of people may have not known that. She was in softball. She ended up working her first summer job at KFC here at Sunrise in Broward County, Sunrise and 31st. And she was very passionate about her customer service too, where then she became, I believe it was like a team lead, or I think a manager. And she didn't play about making sure, her customers had the fresh chicken and soft biscuits. Like, everything that she did, it was passionate. She was just such a lovable, sweet young girl. And I couldn't wait till she grew up, because then we could go to the nail shop together, and then, things like that, and hairdos. And that was another trademark of hers too. As she started to grow into her personality. As moms, we don't always agree with the teenage daughters, but her hair. She used to love experimenting with the hair color. And I would say, Destiny, you can't change hair colors. I mean, she went from hot pink to turquoise to, orange if she could, but that was her personality. And she said, Mommy, well, sometimes you got to lighten up. Everything doesn't have to be black and white. So, I learned a lot from her too, it's okay to let your shoulders back, just to take it day by day. And then unfortunately, before all this happened, we found out that she was diagnosed with lupus, the most severe case, before she graduated. That was, I think it was 2021. Yeah, 2021 December, we found out she ended up in Joe DiMaggio's ICU, where she was facing death then. And the doctors couldn't figure out why her body was shutting down. So, of course, we did what we could. We was just coming out of COVID. A lot of people couldn't see her. She was scared. She just said, Mommy, I just want to walk the stage, I just want to graduate. And I said, don't worry about that. We're gonna get through this. So she made a remarkable turnaround. And when the doctors came back and saw her, they said, this is not the same child, even on the hospital bed facing death. So we crossed that hump. She made it to graduate with honors from Dillard High School. And she walked the stage and she went to prom. Beautiful. We accomplished that, and her goal with graduating high school was she always wanted to become a firefighter woman. And so that right there, like, we would go toe to toe because we're 3 days apart in birthdays. So we have similar personalities. And she said, Mom, I'm going to be a firefighter woman. I'm like, well, Destiny, you can barely breathe. And she was like, you got jokes or you trying to be funny? I was like, no, we're talking facts here. She said, no, I'm still going to be a firefighter woman because I want to save lives. So I said, well, I don't know how you're going to do that. And she said, well, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. And that was the end of the conversation. And she meant what she said. And so she called me back and she would tell me the days that they would have the testing. And she was determined to go to these agility classes to enter into the firefighter program. And I was like, Destiny, by the time, you walk to the car, we're out of breath. That's just how severe lupus was for her with, right, being on the medication and things. But she always still made a joke out of everything. She always still had a smile on her face.
Isn't that the same thing that Tony Braxton has? Lupus?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go ahead. Yeah. And we also see that her grandmother, this is Adriana Matthews. She said, this is Destiny Bucknor's grandmother, listening in from Seattle, Washington. Hello, Adriana.
Hello, Miss Matthews.
Thank you for joining us, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's my mom. Okay. Hi, Mom. So, yeah, she basically, even though we jumped those obstacles, she always seen the best out of the worst. And watching her come from facing death, coming out of her deathbed and moving like nothing ever happened, like that showed me the strength that she had as a young adult. So she don't even know she inspired me, you know what I'm saying, to keep moving with life, even when it knocks you down, even when the odds are against you, things like that. So she has really taught me a lot. She was very motivational. She kept going. And even with her being in pain, she never complained. She made everybody laugh even more around her. Like, it was just overall a good experience in the memories. And she was the definition of don't give up.
Yes.
Wow.
That is an incredible story that you just told.
That's incredible.
I mean, her resilience to be the fire lady, I mean, that was resilient. I can just imagine what she would be doing today if she was alive.
Probably up in the higher ranks as a battalion chief or something like that, because it sounds like she was just this little bright, brilliant young lady that had such a bright future
ahead of her.
And it's funny that, and it's not funny, but I'm just saying, it's just some of the things that you were saying. It reminds me of my own daughter, because I told you that I also lost my daughter, not to gun violence, But at a young age, my daughter Brittany, and her name was Brittany, just like your name, Brittany. And her mother took her to the doctor at the age of about 17, and she 17, maybe 17, and she was diagnosed with congestive heart failure at such a young age. And as time went on, I saw her getting short of breath, and her body started retaining fluid, and they had to do dialysis to uh, get the fluid from her body, take the fluid from her body, and she was just so short of breath, and her legs would swell. She tried to work, but she couldn't. And I just watched her go through some tough time. Not only me, but my family, my brother, her uncle here. Just watching her go through so much, and it was really nothing we could do besides try and get on the heart transplant list, and they put a defibrillator in her heart. And when they put the defibrillator in, of course, they had to test it. And when they tested it, she was in a cardiac arrest, and they had to call the code over the PA, and they ended up saving her. She lived about another year after that, and her heart had gotten so big that she couldn't take it anymore. So I know how it is. I know how it feels, and then when you tell your story, it hits home to me because my daughter's name was Brittany, and your name is Brittany, and you lost a daughter at such a young age, and I lost a daughter at such a young age, and I can tell you that the hurt and pain never goes away, and that's why we're here today too. And I'm just reading some of the comments, just that they're saying about your lovely daughter and her longtime friend since 6th grade, David Hallback, and Adriana Matthews, your mother said, "Hi, Brittany, I'm so proud of you. Destiny is her mother's child." And David Hallback came back and said, "Me and Destiny would always talk about when we got grown, and to have her not here with me right now kills me daily." And I could understand that very.
That's the thing, is that losing her, I can't just be selfish and say I can, and I can't. I can't just be selfish as a mom to say, "Oh, me." Like, you impacted a lot of people.
Yes,
that
yes.
daughter, and the young adult community, and the community, family, friends, loved ones, co-workers. So it's not just the family per se. It is a trickle down effect that, when you lose a child, especially like due to gun violence,
Yes.
and to be taken so prematurely at that time. Well, I can't say prematurely. I could say snatched in a sense. I don't know. Let me take that back. Because we all have a time where we're born, and we all have a time where we die. But It just so premature to us because nobody's seen this coming. Nobody expected it. So I guess I could say prematurely as if we're not being unseen. But it affects a lot of people, and a lot of people are hurt.
Yes.
Oh yeah. My children, they're younger. As adults, we kind of figure out our emotions a little bit. Right. So then you have our friends in the younger generation that maybe this is their first death closest to them, and they're grieving and trying to dissect their emotions and still trying to move through with life. So, it's a lot to deal with, and she impacted a lot of people, and that's why I say my daughter deserves justice.
Yes, she does.
She was a very sweet girl, and she meant no harm to nobody.
Right. Yep. And she sounds just like my daughter. And every time I could tell you, Brittany, that every time I talked to my daughter on the phone, we would never hang up that phone without telling each other we loved each other. So, I mean, I wanted to ask you that question, and I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you, when you talk to Brittany on the phone, or when she would leave the house, I'm pretty sure you would always tell your daughter you loved her.
Always. And it was, "Okay, mommy, I love you too," or "I love you, mommy, too."
Right.
It was when she spoke to me, even though she was a young adult, she still had her child innocency about her. It wasn't mom. We had, our relationship had grown to the part where it was mommy. Or if she didn't know something, even if she, because you're a young adult, you try to figure it out. She don't know she have to turn back around and be like, Mom, now don't say nothing, but I got a question. And I'll say, okay, this and this and this, or what do you think you should do with this? So as she grew older and she became my best friend.
Right.
And now I won't get to experience her giving me my first grandchild or getting married.
Take your time.
Take your time.
That got snatched from me. I don't have that anymore. So I'm just trying to figure out life without that, because there's no way I can sit here and pretend like to erase her out of my memory, I carried her for 9 months, felt her tumble, felt her kick, did all of this as a mom, and now
just taken away from you senselessly
Oh.
and recklessly by someone that had no disregard for human life to just recklessly unload a firearm,
And Brittany, I'd like for you to tell us, how did that day start out with Destiny? That day, that tragic murder happened. Tell us, how did that day start out with you and with her, and how it became to where we are right now?
of course, she was always working. And so I was like, hey, you guys, it's always give the mom preliminaries. Be careful, it's the holidays. Be safe, watch out for each other. Read Psalms 91, hedge your protection around you guys. Look out for your brothers. And just enjoy your holiday. I love you. That was 12:41 that afternoon was the last text that I got from her. And I haven't spoken to her since that time.
Wow.
And her response was, okay, Mommy, we love you too. And we will.
And the hurtful thing is for a lot of parents is they never get to say goodbye or I love you. But in your case, you did. You did every chance you got. You always told Destiny you loved her as well as myself. And I think, again, that hurts a lot of parents because they always say, I never got a chance to tell my daughter or my son that I love them. And I always tell people, always let your kids know, and your parents know, and your family know that you love them, because you never know, your life can be taken away from you, just like that,
Never. So basically leading up to that, I got a phone call later on that evening. And it was, I was preparing, to get ready to go to work and stuff because, it was the 4th of July. I just wanted, just to relax. And to me, it was just a regular day, getting ready for work. And then I get a phone call and it was hysterical. You got to come. Destiny's been shot. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, my daughter's been shot? So I called back and it's just hysterical. He said, you got to come to the hospital. And I'm thinking it's a joke or a prank, but it really wasn't. I'm arguing in a sense, like, what do you mean, my daughter? Like, my daughter, Destiny? No, you must have the wrong pal. You have the wrong pal. You can get to the hospital. And everyone's just hysterical. And we're trying to figure out what's going on. And I get to the back and I'm just pleading with the police officers and saying, hey, like, I'm not scared of blood. Like, let me just see my baby. Let me just see my baby. And they told me I needed to wait in the waiting room. And it felt like forever, but I should have known something was wrong, because when the doctors came out and they said, I'm sorry, we tried everything that we could.
Wow.
And that right there, I'll never forget that. It was like the whole room just went black. I'll never forget that. So, like, when parents lose their children to gun violence, like, to hear those words from a doctor, or the detectives come and knock on the parent's door or give them a phone call and say, hey, we're sorry. I'm telling you, from that moment there, your world changes. Your world is you're in a whole, it's not the same.
Right. Brittany, if we could just back up just a little bit and tell the audience what happened to your daughter. Was she in a car? Was she riding in a car? Was it a slingshot or what happened?
It was riding. I'm sorry,
Go
go ahead. I
ahead.
didn't hear. She was riding in a slingshot 4th of July. And get this, this was she begged for this day to have off because she wanted to enjoy 4th of July with her family. And she was riding in a slingshot in the neighborhood, and um she was shot at the slingshot was shot at.
Was she targeted or was it just a random shooting
Act of violence.
or act of violence?
My belief is she was not the intended target.
That's my belief too.
Right.
She was
That
not.
is my belief.
I don't believe she was the intended target.
Right.
It's unfortunate that she got caught up, wrong place, wrong time.
Yep.
Because she didn't even like coming outside. It was too hot for her. She could barely breathe. Like, she
Right.
just wanted to take her one day off and enjoy a typical young adult. You know, I want to hang outside. It's the four. Who doesn't want to hang outside and go to a barbecue and be around their family? You
Absolutely.
know, she wasn't. I don't think. Well, I don't think that it was not like, oh, let me just go and be in mess. Like, no, this was her one time she was off and she wanted to enjoy herself, and she never came back home.
Wow. And to my knowledge, most slingshots that I know, it only holds 2 people. So if she wasn't the intended target, then apparently the other person in the slingshot was the intended target. Am I correct?
Her belief.
It's my belief as her mom.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So that happened, and they ended up taking her to the hospital. And I'm sure when you got that call, that was the longest ride of your entire life. It seemed like forever just getting to the hospital. And when you stated a little while ago that when you got there, they told you to wait in the waiting room, and you should have known something was wrong. And they came out and told you that there was nothing that they could do, and the room got dark. Were you surrounded by your other family members when you were there waiting at the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So that's going to lead me on into well, we know she passed away and they couldn't save her. And now you have to sit around and, the hardest thing you have to do, I don't care who you are, if you're a parent, to go to a funeral home and pick out, a casket and a vault and all of this stuff in a hole to put your daughter or your son in. That's the hardest thing that, a parent could ever do. I've been through it, and I know you had to go through something like that as well. And it just breaks my heart hearing this. But there was a funeral, and your daughter was laid to rest, and now the fight for justice starts. And as we talked earlier off camera, who the Broward County Sheriff's Office, they are the ones that's working on your daughter's case, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And have you heard anything in the last year from any of the detectives in regards to your daughter's case?
Basically that there hasn't been any leads coming in for her. They don't have, there's nothing, you know. Um, it saddens me because, like you say, now you go through all of that, you know, you lay them to rest, you go through emotion, you go through the ups and downs, the holidays, the birthdays, all that stuff. So now it's okay, it's justice time. And the part that, like, it saddens me, just as a mom and listening to other stories throughout Broward County of moms encountering gun violence, um, the community and excuse me, what I'm getting ready about to say, a lot of people may or may not like it,
Say
but
it. Say what you got to
You
say.
say whatever you have to say.
and I'm gonna be very respectful in a sense, but it's true. It saddens my heart in the Black community that an innocent young adult was murdered, but yet how and there's no excuse because wrong is still wrong, but when the police officers, and not all police officers are bad, so let me just clear
That's
that
right.
up. But when it's police officer kills a Black man, everybody wants to riot. But when a child or a community, a family member is killed in the community, nobody wants to be labeled as a snitch. But it's
That's
still
right.
wrong because the person's being took. Their life is being taken, and it's not like you take out the trash and turn around and can get that person's soul back. Once they're gone, they're gone.
That's
And then
right.
it's like, it's not you. If it's not, what if it was your grandmother? Like, what if it was your mother? What if it was your sister? I wouldn't put this pain on even my worst enemy. And what this all taught me within the last coming up year is forgiveness. I have a million and one reasons to be angry, but that's not going to solve or bring Destiny back. So
No.
I have to learn how to adjust to her not being here. So do you think I want to see or meet with other moms grieving their children due to gun violence? And I guarantee you, however they lost their child, the stories that I've been hearing have been it's so mind-blowing. It makes no sense. More than half of the time, these young adults, these children are innocent just by walking through the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's time that the community really starts sticking together because it does take a village to raise children. Because if
Yes.
I see a child and I say, hey, baby, your life is in danger, come, 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 I would think that, the other parent, because right now, if I don't know how many people are watching, but if you were to take your phone or if you were to look at your phone and see your baby cousin or your sister, imagine you burying them.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
Yeah.
You have
And
to
it's
you
like
have to you have to tell it like it is, man, and you put it so eloquently just now, you know.
it's just it's saddened. It's so sad because the pain. Some people can't take it. Some people lose their mind. Some people end up on drugs. Yeah, some people can't work and they just be stuck in the bed all the time, and family have to come in and take care of them. Everyone doesn't handle death the same.
No,
And
right.
especially when it comes to a child. And I'm not saying death in general, because, I've lost family members too. But when it comes to children, that's painful.
That's a different kind of hurt right there.
It is.
Yeah.
I felt like I got ran over by a truck.
Yeah. And I
And it
know
was
that pain.
mm,
And you know when you said that just now, because there's a code in the hood.
Yeah.
We grew up in the hood, and snitches get stitches. But again, as you said just now, if it happens to their brother or their sister or their mother or their father or one of their children, they will want everybody to come and speak up. man, please get on there and speak up. Somebody please talk and this and that. But the same community that she was murdered in, the answers are right there in that same community. Yeah. But because of the code in the hood, snitches get stitches. People don't want to talk.
They don't want to be labeled.
And this is going out to the people out there that know something.
Something
that knows what happened. You don't have to go up to the police station and show your face. Call what is the number?
954-493-8477. That is the number to Crime Stoppers. You don't have to leave no name. They don't track you back. They don't do any of that. Right. Someone knows something out there about Destiny Bucknor.
Say something, and get rid of get this thought of snitches get stitches out of your head, because I can tell you if it happens to somebody in your family, they're gonna want some doggone answers. I can tell you that. And you said it. I mean, and David Halbach said, "Speak the truth," and you have to speak the truth. You're the voice for Destiny right now.
That's gonna be kicked up. It's gonna be World War V. I mean, all hell's gonna break loose, and it's just like, how many times do we have to keep? And not just now. Now it's not just for Destiny, but all for the other children that we've lost for within a year or two. Due to gun violence, because I met some of these moms, and to sit back and see them, like, that's just opening up wound with salt again. And that's a pain that you're never going to be able to pass off on anybody. Because guess what? When that casket hit that 6 feet marker and the dust settles, everybody go on with their life.
That's right.
Everybody goes on with their life. Yeah, they stay and they hang and they support, but it's just for a momentary thing. I have to get up every morning and remind myself she's not here. Whether if it's a song, whether if I think I'm going to pick up the phone. I just got through celebrating her. She would have been 20th, April 27th, and my birthday was April 30th. And then I had to celebrate Mother's Day.
Wow.
That come on now. I'm just saying, that's a lot. Now, if anyone wants to walk in my shoes and just give me a break to breathe for a little bit, let me know, and then tell me if you can make it out to switch back the shoes. Because I'm just saying, like, emotionally, it's a lot. And as a mom, I just wish that someone would just really do the right thing to hear that. Destiny was honestly innocent young bystander. She was a sweetheart. She was missed and loved by many. And she didn't deserve this.
No, she didn't.
That was my baby. No soul to be taken wrongfully from another person's hands, whatever the case is. Like, nobody deserves that. And at the end of the day, could you imagine your mama sitting there crying like this? Let's talk about it.
They wouldn't like it.
They wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like to see your mama cry all of a sudden, whether she cooking or sometimes you can't get out of bed or you can't go to work. Mama. Because let me tell you, that depression is real. That trauma, that PTSD, that's real. And I don't think people really understand it. And it's okay, because everyone won't understand it. But if it was to come knocking at your door, then you're going to hoop and holler. And it shouldn't take that.
Yeah.
We should have to keep seeing RIP every time we get on social media from another Black man or a young Black adult or a Black female in the community due to gun violence. How many more fish fries? How many more
T-shirts?
T-shirts we're going to have to keep
balloon
seeing?
Releases and balloon releases.
And, oh, happy birthday, RIP, I remember, due to senseless gun violence. And that's the part that stirs me up as a mom, because it's not right and someone needs to be held accountable. Right. That's just it.
Yeah. I still just don't understand how you can come through the hood and a shooting can happen and everybody, and you know how Black people, we like to hang out on the block, and we like to hang out and we like to congregate and we like to talk, and something like that happened and nobody saw anything. I find that hard to believe that nobody down there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, didn't see anything. And I'm talking to whoever out there, if you saw something, you have the responsibility to speak up. Okay?
Like it was told to me.
Just
either
like
you're
it
part
was
of the problem or you're part of the solution.
That's right. That's right. And if it was your daughter, how would you feel? And I'm pointing at the camera right now. If it was your daughter, whoever's out there watching in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, if it was your daughter or your son, how would you feel? If you know something, speak up.
And Brittany, earlier I heard you speak of you said something about forgiveness. I didn't hear that. What were you referencing to? Is that what a lot of people tell you?
No, a lot of people, honestly, a lot of people ain't tell me. I had to get there myself. I had to learn it because I did go through the emotional roller coasters of being angry. Why my daughter? This is so unfair. Just looking crazy like how did it end up being her? And when I say forgiveness,
Yeah.
and this is just something I've learned personally, like myself, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. Because I still have, other children I have to raise. I still have to move forward with life.
Right.
And I can't, even if no one comes forth and says anything, I still have to find a place of peace within myself, knowing that, you know what, at least my daughter's not suffering with lupus no more. Well, at least you don't have to deal with this crazy world. Those are just being honest, the thoughts of a mom when we think about certain things. Maybe I have to forgive myself, because it'd be like, well, what if I would have told her, go to work that day? What if I would have known? Even so for the person, but for the person that was driving and the person that may have that pulled the trigger, I still have to forgive you too. What? And it sounds crazy,
No,
but
that was a question I was gonna ask you.
in order for me to have a peace of mind, and don't get me wrong, because you're still human, so you still battle with, being angry, upset. Who wants their loved one being taken from them? That's
Right.
not a Dr. Seuss question. You know what I'm saying? That's a reality type question. So forgiveness, am I a lot better than what I was a few months ago? Oh yes, most definitely.
Right.
Am I where I want to be at? No, because of course I'm still grieving mother. It's a fresh wound.
Right.
But at the same time, forgiveness, I say I still have to forgive, and I choose to forgive because it's not going to bring her back.
Right. And that's the way that it took me a while to get there too, because I always said, with my sister, I still have to get down on my knees and pray sometimes, because sometimes I think about the situation. I look at my sister kids, and even though in my heart I feel like I'm at that point now where it's a battle. And people always ask you that, Brittany. They always, well, you gotta forgive, you gotta this. And I go to church every Sunday. Me and my brother work the audio and the video in church every Sunday. So we hear that all the times. But, until a person, like you said, Brittany, be in your position, they will understand when they go to talking about that forgiveness. That's not their mother, their father, their sister, or their daughter. So it's easy for them sometimes to just go to saying about forgiveness. And I heard you say that, and that's why I referenced back to that, because you answered everything, because I wanted to know, because we always ask people this question, because I know how hard it was for me to get there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It is, and it really is. And that's where it comes individually. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Some people may not go to church. Some people may not even believe in God. Yep. To each his own. But I know how I was able to make it was just sitting back, because I went through the emotion. Trust me, I did. It ain't I was just take me to the king all the time. Sometimes I wanted to set it off like Boosie. I was going through the emotional roller coaster, but that is naturally human. But I've noticed, in order for me to have a peace of mind, is, you know what, I know I did everything I could to the best of my ability as Destiny's mother. Parenting does not come with a handbook. Unfortunately, it was her time, to go. Maybe not how we all wanted to. She's not suffering with lupus, but the person who did this, because you will have to take accountability. And that's the biggest word, is accountability.
That's definitely right. Yes, and your mother said, the question is, what are the authorities' goal in resolving Destiny's murder? And that's a big part of it. And you told me earlier that Detective Steve Novak from the Broward County Sheriff's Office is working on. He was the detective on the case, and I did reach out to Detective Steve Novak today. I left him a detailed message, and just to get some clarification on and see if there's any movement, any new leads. I'm sure they're probably not going to tell us much because we're not family, but we are part of the press and we have a right to know certain things, not all of the details. Right. But I did put a question, leave them a detailed message, and as I said earlier, we're going to have Broward County Sheriff Gregory Tony on this podcast and on June 11th. It's going to be at 11 a.m. That was the only time that we could get him. But if you're at work and you missed it, you can't make it, you can always go back and watch the playoff. And we will ask the sheriff directly what is going on with Destiny Bucknor's case. And can you please check with the detectives and see if we could get get this off of the cold case shelf, number one, and start working on some new leads. And you won't find any leads if you don't get out in the community and start talking to the people. The people, the answers to Destiny's murder is in the community. You have to go out and you have to find people that look like us to talk to. These guys that's posted up on the block around there. Some of them might want to talk, get them out of that environment and say, hey, I'll meet you wherever in this county or in Dade County somewhere. Just talk to me. Tell me what went on, We need to find out what's going on with this case with Destiny Bucknor.
And also, Brittany, another question before you answer that. Adriana Matthews said, what would you like to happen in reference to justice? So I'd like for you to just think about that while you're getting ready to answer, and just answer that too.
She said, repeat the question again?
Yes. She said, Brittany, what would you like to happen in reference to justice?
That there being a made?
Yeah, what would justice look like to you if the person is apprehended? What would justice look like to you?
That would be between them and God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I can't. Maybe they're remorseful. Maybe they're not. Maybe it was the honest mistake and they didn't. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that it could take a different route. So for me to be like, they have to feel my pain, and like I'm past that. I'm so past that. You know what I'm saying? Even if I could get an I'm sorry, I would be satisfied for that. Whether if I did or did not, I'm okay with that. But because there's still laws of the land, and you have to follow the rules and the laws of the land, there has to be an arrest. There has to be an accountability. Now, as far as what does justice look like, that's way beyond my means right there.
Right. And that's probably that's what I would think too. I say I'm going to leave that up to God, but whatever God punishment God hands down to this person or people or persons, then that's what they deserve to get. I can't. It's not on me. It's going to be judged. Because he or she is going to be judged by a jury of their peers, and it's going to be, he might beat the court systems here on earth, but there's a man upstairs he can't beat. You can't beat him, and whoever it is, they have to answer to the man upstairs.
And that's just how I look at it. So I think that's where I say forgiveness and just getting to that right there, because we can't control everything. We can't expect people to be remorseful or you can't. And so with all of this, my expectation has really did a whole turnaround, because as long as I know I don't have a high expectation, I don't get disappointed.
Right.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's how I look at life.
I don't get disappointed anymore. This right here, listen, life is life, and I think we all can agree with that. But once you hit a certain type of aspect of it, you grow like a whole new skin. It's like you shut off the old person and this whole new person just comes up. So,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff, it doesn't phase me as much anymore because I feel like it's minute, it's irrelevant,
Right.
you know? And like I said, even so, it would be nice, but I just feel like in the Black community, it's just too much gun violence in our young community, and our young adults are being taken out by it. I don't like it as a mom. And I feel like, that also too, needs to be, in a sense, handled and dealt with. And,
Right.
I'm
And
only one person.
right. And I'm a firm believer, Brittany, that there's something good that comes out of every bad situation. I believe, something good is going to come out of your daughter's death. And I don't know what that is, but I believe that something good is going to come out of this. Um, um,
What did Brittany? What did after Destiny's death? Did the police do anything different in your area or in the area where it happened? Did they step up the patrol? Did they do cameras? Did they do license tag readers? Did they do anything to try to curb the violence that was going on in that area?
I'm not sure because it's a different, I'm sorry, my phone. It's a different jurisdiction.
Okay.
So I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, because as Daryl alluded to, usually from when something usually happen like that, you usually see something. But you look through Broward County every day at the news, Brittany. It's so many people being murdered here. I don't even think they have enough detectives out there to keep up.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and we spoke to. I think we brought that up to the sheriff that they have so many cold cases that they don't have enough. I think they have like 4 detectives working cases.
Yeah.
Here in Broward County, cold cases, and one of the things that we're going to ask Tony, Sheriff Tony, when it comes to what about when some of these detectives retire? How about bringing them back on a part-time basis just to work cold cases? They don't have enough detectives to work these cases here, and he did create. And I remember Sheriff Tony saying that it didn't happen until he got it. He under his administration that he started putting more emphasis on cold cases and hiring more people to work these cold cases. So, and that's what's needed. If you only have four detectives that has 40 cold cases or 40 cases sitting on their desk a piece, 40, 50 cases, how are they going to solve all of them if no one's in the community is talking? Because snitches get stitches. They don't want to talk. It's the code of the hood. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to talk until something like that happens to your family.
And also, Brittany, did you talk to any elected officials in the city where it happened on what are they doing?
The mayor,
I know it's the Broward Sheriff Office is over the investigation, but did you talk to like the mayor, the commissioners, or anyone? Because you have to stay on them too, because they sometimes hide behind law enforcement and feel like they're not accountable, but they are, because they are the leaders of that city, to put pressure on them, to do something. I mean, did you ever hear from any of them, any commissioners, the mayor, the city manager, anyone from your city or the city where it happened?
Not from what I can recall from that particular city, that jurisdiction, though.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Were there any more detectives other than Steve Novak, working on Brittany's on Destiny's case?
No, from my understanding, I believe he's the lead detective.
The lead detective.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and I think I asked you this, but do you recall when the last time you heard something from the detective about your daughter's that someone from the sheriff's office gave you an update?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Be honest.
I think it was probably April. I know April was a very rough month with me with dealing with her birthday and my birthday. So I believe it was April, if I can recall correctly.
Right. Wow, April 20th.
And you have to, I can tell you from experience, Brittany, you have to stay on those folks. I can tell you like this. My parents at one time was going to the Broward Sheriff Office almost every week. You have to stay on those people. I don't care how tiresome it get, or don't ever think that you're bothering them. Let them be bothered, because that's their job, and this is your daughter, and you stay on them, Brittany. Don't let up. I mean, even every month, demand be sitting there. My parents used to be sitting there every month, waiting for updates, and you have to. I say this to everyone that come on here, Brittany. You have to stay on them. Do not let them think that this is just another case that's gonna go in a file and go in a locked room, because that's just what is going to happen. And you have to just stay on them. I mean, I know it's tiresome again, but stay on them, Brittany, please.
Go up there every week, like he said. Go up there and speak to,
the city manager or whoever. They'll get tired.
The manager,
they'll get tired.
Captain, someone high in the command staff that's gonna get some movement, because if I don't know how often these detectives check their voicemails. That maybe they check them every day, but you have to keep that pressure on them. And our whole family was going up there, and you have the pressure will bust the pipe, So you have to keep that pressure on them and show them that this was my child, and she deserves justice, and I'm not gonna stop until I get it. Like I said earlier, you're the mouth. You have to fight for her. Your family has to fight for her.
Every reporter that black, white, whoever. Make sure Destiny's name stays out there, because as time go on, people will forget, and anyone work in media, when the anniversary comes around again this year, you make sure you call the TV station. You call all of them. Believe me, people think they won't come. They will come, because that stories like that they want to hear. But if no one never brings that story to them, it's like it's forgotten.
And it's coming up on a 1-year anniversary here pretty soon. So I would reach out to the news media and have all them news come and do a story on it.
That's right.
And put it out in the news as well as this podcast. And that's what we did. We kept it in the news. We would call the news stations every year, and they would come out, and they would be more than happy to come out and do a story. Susanna Bryan from the South Florida Sun Sentinel is a good one to contact, and just keep it in the news. Reach out to the media, and we'll send them some emails and as well to get in contact with you.
It's just very time seems like it was dragging forever. Like everything was moving slow motion for a long time, and then now that it's the 1-year anniversary coming up. Everyone says 1 year, but it still feels like yesterday to me.
Oh, yes.
And it's with time, you learn. I'm not going to say time heals. I said I've learned the saying, or my saying now, I put together, with time, you learn to adjust. You learn to adjust. You learn to, it's okay. You have your moments, your bad days and stuff. And I just really believe that Destiny deserves her justice. I believe that Destiny wouldn't want to see us, sad and crying all the time. But I will continue to, put her name out there, because rightfully so, she deserves it. And, that was my oldest daughter and my only daughter. And I won't be able to, go pick out wedding dresses anymore, say, hey mom, I'm getting married, or hey mom, you're gonna be a grandma. Like I think about all that, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Your mother said, get emails so the communications between you and the authorities have a paper trail.
That is very important.
I agree, stay on them. That is very important. They'll say, oh, you never called me.
Exactly.
But when you put it on email, those are all public records. So you can say, I emailed you. Yes, I did.
That is very
call
important.
them and send them an email, so you have your mother is right, have a paper trail.
And plaster that city with those flyers of the sheriff department seeking answers. Plaster that community, plaster everywhere in that area. Go to all the stores. When they walk in the store, ask the store owners, "Can I put it right on the door?"
Give us some. We'll put them.
I'll put some here myself. Yeah. I'll make some here and put them up here in the stores here. I mean,
people know everybody. I don't care just because this is happening for Fort Lauderdale. They have relatives and homeboys and homegirls here in Deerfield and Pompano and all over the place. So you never know. Someone may see it, and someone may have overheard a conversation, and all it takes is that one little tip to get things going. And we know from experience, and that's all it takes is that one good tip to come into the tip line. Give them that number to the tip line again.
The number again is 954-493-8477. It's in the chat. The number 8477
right.
or 954-493-TIPS.
And there is up to a $5,000 reward through Crime Stoppers, I believe, for the right information that leads to an arrest and a conviction. So call a number. They even have a number that you could text. I don't have that number here, but email, inbox us, and we'll forward the information over to the Broward County Sheriff's Office. We have a very good rapport with the Sheriff's Office, not only here in Deerfield Beach, but downtown Fort Lauderdale. And we want to help you, Brittany, get some closure. And in my heart, I believe that you will see some movement on this real soon, and you will get some tips, the right tip that comes in, and please let us know.
And I got another question for you too, Brittany. Since Destiny's murder, do you feel safe? How do you feel? How do you feel when you're out? Do you feel safe at all?
Sometimes I used to feel like, well, what if this person knows? Or what if that person knows? Or, do you think they know? Like, I used to feel like that. And it wasn't to be like in a judgmental type thing. But it was like because, it was getting a lot of media and stuff and things of that nature. So I would just feel like would they really know? Or what if the person was just looking at me dead in my face and I didn't know who it was? So as far as feeling safe, that's not a concern because I know God got my back with that one. So but it's more in a sense of, like, what if the person really stared at me in my face and I didn't know it? Like my thoughts would go down that rabbit hole. And then I didn't know, but I was looking at a few pictures how much me and Destiny looked alike. So, in between me crying and, not having these lashes fall off, sometimes when I would go in public, people would do double takes. And, depending on where I was at, they just do a double take like, God, that face looked familiar. Or, like they seen a ghost walking throughout Broward County, and it's like, okay, well, good we look alike because her face will never die, right. And it's always going to be a reminder of her walking around in the flesh, in a sense, and that nature. So that's before. And now I don't, now I've left it in the sense of I'm going to do my part to speak for my daughter and bring her justice, but now more so like really honestly leaving it to God's hands, because if you don't, to a certain degree, it's going to drive you crazy. And
it'll destroy you.
Yeah, it'll destroy you inside and out. And I still have more work to do with this. If it does, then who's going to continue to speak for Destiny?
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. And I'll say this here from my personal opinion. You're a strong Black woman. I mean, I listen to you, and it's like, every time I listened, I tell you who gave me the most strength as far as with my sister. Listening to, it wasn't the people that I know. It was people listening to mothers just like you, the Robin Lilies, the just the other people, just listening to you on here. I mean, you're strong, and I admire you for that. Just listening to you here today, your answers were, I didn't expect some of the answers that you said. So I know Destiny, where Destiny comes from.
She's proud of you right now.
Oh, she comes from a very compassionate mom.
She's proud of you, looking down at you.
I'm telling you, just your answers that I heard, I was not expecting that. I thought I was going to hear something different, but that just shows the character of, I know where Destiny got it from. I see it. I see where she got her looks, and I see where she got I just wish we could have all see of where she would be at to this day, and that just bothers the heck out of me every time I talk to mothers on our podcast. It strikes me the strength that you all have
to get up and talk about it.
Yes.
And this is twice you've talked about it here in the last month. I believe we saw you down at the Gun Violence Symposium, and you said that you were nervous, but you did a wonderful job here. It takes a lot of courage to come on here. You're being live streamed streamed on YouTube right now. So it takes a lot of courage to come on here and talk. But like I said, you always remember, I am doing this for Destiny.
Yep.
And you always keep that in the front of your mind. This is for my daughter, and I'm gonna be strong. I might be nervous, but I'm gonna do this for my daughter. And I see some more comments in there. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving my granddaughters and daughter a voice. I appreciate it. That's from your mother, Adriana Matthews. Vibing with Tia said, "Hey, Brittany, this is Tia." Dovey says hello. David Hallback says, "We're Tauruses, really strong people." I'm a Taurus too. My birthday is April the 21st, one day after your daughter's.
No, Destiny's is the 27th.
27th? Okay, the 27th.
Yeah, mine's the 30th. Yeah.
But yours is the 30th.
Yeah, but never in a million years, did I ask for any of this, because at the cost of what? You know what I'm saying? You can't get it back. And then two, I had to learn to really turn my strength and my faith, and my belief in Jesus. And that's the person who has kept me, in the midst of it all. So when you say strength, it's not on my strength, it's the strength from him. Because when you sit in that room and you're by yourself and those thoughts go to thinking, and you don't have everyone or all the time, like I said, because life goes on, and that's fine. But in order for me to get that strength to move forward, to speak for Destiny, and to get that justice, and hopefully, someone seeing this podcast, it will soften their heart, to say, oh man, just give them a little compassion. We heard it from the mom's mouth. Like she had the right to be angry, but you could tell, like, she's not, a fireball and stuff like that, because it took a minute to get there. So again, it takes a village. It takes a village. And to see, I think too, that what gets me a little fire going is to see these moms, like I said, within the past year, lose their children, and they don't have the strength just yet. So someone still got to keep talking about the gun violence that's running rampant in our community.
That's
right. And it's not right.
Yeah.
And that definitely needs to be addressed more. We don't talk about that enough, about the gun violence and about crime and punishment too, to go along with the gun violence that goes along in our community. And I go back to what you said earlier about, it's funny, Brittany, everyone think that they know everyone else's business in our community. But when something like this, a tragedy like this happens, no one knows anything. And it's always, if you get in your car, I can get in my truck right now, and I can ride pretty much around Broward County to most of the areas where I see murders happen, that here is people always outside. And I cannot figure out for the world, when something happens like that, why no one sees anything. But someone is always out there walking. Yeah. You always have someone walking out there, but no one never sees anything. And that's frustrating. I'm quite sure that's not just frustrating to the cops, but that's frustrating as me as a black man.
And you also have to realize too that a lot of people are afraid that they're gonna come back. These people that did the shooting may come back and shoot them and kill their family members. So there is a level of
Yes.
of fear
and which,
there.
Yes.
which is understandable.
Right.
And I
Yep.
get it. And that's the thing, is that what happened to our Black community? Where did it go such left? Where
Right.
we, back in the day, when I was growing up, I probably was the last of the Mohegans. You couldn't get in trouble down the street, because if Miss Sue saw you doing something you weren't supposed to be doing,
Right.
you better pray she didn't call you by the time you met in the house, because you was finna get it.
That's right.
Yep.
3 or 4 times.
It, probably 6, but it's
Right.
so much has changed in the community, and it's so sad to really see the Black community like legit take each other out. That's what's going on,
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's neither here or there. But no, I get it with the whole fear thing.
No, that's a strong point.
It shouldn't be that way,
Yep.
Why? It's like, oh, okay, it's pretty much the wild, wild west, and there's unity and power. So
Yeah.
there has to be, the dynamics has to change to get to somewhere. Someone has to stand up and say, and it shouldn't be a fear thing, or retaliation thing. And even as so, I that's just a whole nother scary aspect of it, and it's not cool. But it just breaks my heart with the Black community of how much times have changed, and it's gotten for the worse.
Yeah,
And
we have to do better.
And what kind of support have you gotten, Brittany, from churches or other organizations? Do you get a lot of support?
I've actually, I actually just started really becoming more comfortable with speaking. Of course, because appearances may seem, but afterwards I'm still a mama, so it's still a little
you have
tough.
to relive it, right?
Yeah, I have to relive it. So when I do talk to people, the people that are closest to me, they're very supportive. They ask whenever I have something or getting ready to speak to let them know. And it's really just like you say, just keeping the name out there.
Yes.
Destiny's the good girl. Like, we need justice for her. Someone needs to, speak up and not letting off the brakes, because accountability needs to be given for her. So I do have the support, and I just feel like the more I get the courage, and the strength and the momentum, and like next month is gun violence awareness. So we're going to be dealing, with that. I'm part of Lauderhill Peace 365. We're going to be doing a peace walk.
Let us know. Let us know. We'll participate.
Yes, most definitely. So yeah, I'm gaining my momentum back in a sense, and walking out on faith and not fear, because of course, as long as I am like persistent on speaking up for my daughter, and like you say, it's more so about her character, to soften the people's hearts, to let her know that she was an innocent young girl and deserves the justice, that someone hopefully one day will come up and break the ice.
Right. Well, Psalms 31st verse 5 says, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." So, just keep your head up, and keep that fight for destiny. And anything else before we let Brittany go? Is there any other questions?
Again, I just want to say my heart goes out to you.
You did a wonderful
Brittany.
job here today.
You did a wonderful job, and I'm quite sure everyone in the chat and everyone that goes back and see this will be very proud of you. If Destiny was here, Destiny is in heaven looking down, and she's proud of the way you represented her today and the way you told her story. And like I say, my heart goes out to you, and you're a strong Black woman. And
Yes,
I'm telling you that I saw that resilience in you today. I saw that because I really thought you were going to come and rightfully so, angry. But you showed more compassion. I don't know how y'all do it. Y'all need to school me some, because I pray every day, and I have become more compassionate, but It's I don't know, y'all rubbing off on me a whole lot now because I'm starting to get there.
There's some more mothers out there right now that's going through what you're going through right now, and you are giving them courage to come on and talk about and talk about what happened and to try and get some movement on that. So you're an example to a lot of people out there. You might not even realize it.
That's right.
It's a lot of people out there watching right now. We hope and pray that you get the justice that you deserve. Long live Destiny, like someone said in the chat there. But we want to thank you
and keep us abreast
posted
of everything. Yeah. I mean, anything. I mean, whatever you're doing. I mean, just keep us abreast of it so we can advertise it for you. We here for you. We here for you. Like I told you when we was talking off camera, we here for you for the long run.
We ride for the community
until they catch someone. We'll still be right there for you, right there, seeking justice right along with you.
And we
Brittany.
have confidence that some movement is going to happen here. I predict here before the 4th of July. You watch what I tell you. I have confidence, and it's going to be all because of you, not because of us. We're just giving you a platform to get out here and speak and to put and to fight for your daughter. And we're here to help you. We want to thank Miss Brittany Bucknor for coming on the Adams Brothers podcast. And we know it was hard to come on here and discuss your daughters, your beautiful daughters,
your twin
murder. It closes out here. Tell the people out there watching right now. Show them the picture of your daughter, and give them a message to take home and think about tonight. Before you lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes, did I do the right thing? Do I need to call in? Give them that message.
You close us out.
You close us out.
I know she up there laughing, talking about look at my mama stuttering. Can't even get the message out.
We could see it good.
No, that's just, she's always making a joke when everything get nervous. So I can only imagine. But nevertheless, thank you, gentlemen, for having me on your podcast to allow me to tell Destiny's story of the beautiful young lady and the soul that she was inside and out. And I hope that by someone listening to her story, that it just it shows the compassion and the love and the life that she had and was living, and that it touches someone's heart, and sometimes, you can't fight fire with fire. You always got to do it in a sense where delivery of the message is love. And like I said, my biggest lesson and throughout all this was forgiveness and showing compassion. So I just pray that, it reaches the community and people see it and her story gets out there, because my daughter does deserve justice. And like I said, everything that it will be done. So thank you, gentlemen, for allowing me to be on your platform to get her story out. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome, and thank you to all of your family that tuned in and participated in the chat. Thank you all so very much. Like and share to our channel, subscribe to it, hit the bell when we go live, it'll notify you. And more importantly, share this video, share this YouTube video, send it to 1 million people, post it on your personal platforms, social media platforms. Somebody is going to see this somewhere, and somebody's going to call in with some tips. I feel it in my soul. It's going to happen. Thank you, Brittany Bucknor, for coming on this evening here. We wish you well. We're going to pray for you and your family, and keep us posted, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. You have a good night.
You're very welcome. Good night.
Bye.